Hey Liam, do you like wearing masks at school?
No, because it makes me hot and steady. I don't really like the mask a lot because when it first came in the first day of school, and I was kind of worried that if I pulled down my mask I might get in trouble. And it's hard to hear people and stuff because you can't hear them by the mask because the mask covers their mouth by talking and stuff. And you can't really smell much either, and you gotta breathe and stuff.
I don't like masks because when I'm trying to sing in the musical that I'm in, it's hard for everyone to hear around me. No more masks.
How does it make you feel to have to wear a mask at school?
I really don't like it.
Why?
Because, to kids, COVID isn't as bad as it is to adults.
Yeah. So what do you think the schools should do about masks?
Make it so we don't have to wear them anymore.
And how would you feel if you didn't have to wear a mask anymore?
A lot better because I really miss getting to see somebody, my classmates' faces.
Yeah. So you think that the schools should do what?
Make it so we don't have to wear masks anymore.
Masks make it hard to hear teachers, but they also make it hard to breathe in rooms that don't have the best air conditioning. No more masks.
I just want to say the only reason why I think we shouldn't wear masks is because a lot of people at my school have been fighting over the masks, and a lot of people have been getting in trouble over masks, and that's why I think we should not be wearing masks at school anymore.
I think we should not wear a mask because it's making me have acne, and it's not making us speak louder.
Masks keep me from seeing my friends smile and makes it harder for other people to understand me with my speech impediment. No more masks.
Well, masks don't really help with socialization, because it kind of blocks the facial expressions, and that is incredibly important for socializing, especially around high school, because that's when you're making relationships. That's a good time to learn about relationships then, because it will be trouble later if you learn it a bit too late. My sister had to wear masks her whole life. Even though she was born in 2016, she was still a baby. And when she gets to her toddler age, she has to wear masks and stuff. And I don't think that would be good for many kids like her, because socializing at that age, at toddler age, is also very important. It's actually very, very crucial for socializing, because that's when you begin to learn how to make friends and stuff. And I remember it was especially hard for me without the mask when I was growing up. I didn't make friends till I was first grade. Most of my friends in kindergarten and stuff were just acquaintances or friendships in last grade. I didn't really socialize that much.
Hi, my name is Olin. I go to Valley Oak Middle School, and I do not feel comfortable wearing a mask because I feel like it kind of hides individuality. I go to school and I don't see my friends' faces anymore. I don't see my friends' emotions, and I really think that it's kind of uncomfortable, and it doesn't do anything. So what's the point in wearing it?
I personally do not like any of the mask mandates that are being forced upon in our schools, as I've noticed, as well as many other of my fellow students or classmates have seen too, is that the masks have been actually causing more harm to us as we're trying to get through the school year. As we've been very tired, even just while having a little plastic sheet over our noses and our mouths. We have noticed that we've been getting very, very tired during classes and extremely after classes. Right after school, I would probably just go right to sleep and I would completely forget about my homework, other assignments, and maybe even sometimes tests or exams, and that could really be overwhelming and can cause huge anxiety within many other students as well as myself. I've had many overwhelming issues due to the mask policy.
Masks make me sad.
Just for accidentally sleeping in and then, oh no, I forgot an assignment and I need to turn it in by today or tomorrow, and it gets really overwhelming for me as well as many other of our classmates and students.
The pandemic is over. Stop masking us.
Hey, what is up, friends? Happy Sunday night and welcome to Sunday Night Live. Does that sound official?
I think it's official.
Does that sound good? Okay.
Good evening, you guys.
Hey, hopefully you guys saw that video. Many of you may have been seeing it for the first time because it's brand new this week, but it took a little bit longer to get through that intro. So I apologize, but don't apologize because it's a great video, and I just want to shout out to Paul Belt for putting that together, but also for several parents, in this VUSD district who, had their kids just go on camera and just talk about how they feel,
Yeah.
and it's powerful. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that because we need to get those from more and more kids because it's the stuff that we all talk about at home, right? And it's great to get those things on video, allow those little testimonials to go out. So it's just a powerful tool. So shout out to Paul, shout out to, I think Melissa Brewer was the one who gathered all those together, and just great stuff. So anyway, welcome. So we I just want to say hi to everybody. Thank you. I saw Gilbert, you are saying welcome home. We missed you. Yeah, we were out last week. We were actually in Florida. I was there for a work trip. Marilyn got to come and play while I was sitting in meetings most of the day. But we were 3 hours ahead of time and probably still at a dinner with some vendor or something at the time we would have normally been going live. So we decided it wasn't going to work out last week.
Yeah, so we just kind of tried to unplug.
We did.
And by unplug, Jimmy was able to unplug. I didn't unplug, guys, while we were gone. I tried. I really did. But I got caught a couple times on the phone with different people. And it was actually kind of funny because once I was on the phone with someone talking, about,
whatever
masks or whatever. And then I hear our hotel room door open and I'm like, oh, I'm busted. Jimmy, I wasn't expecting Jimmy to come back to our hotel room.
Busted.
I was like, I gotta go.
Caught in the
I'm
act.
supposed to be on vacation.
No, but we're happy to be back. And, it's been a really busy week since we got back. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. All of this stuff is crazy. It sucks that it's happening, but there is a lot of movement that's happened in the last week or so. A lot of behind the scenes stuff. Like, honestly, I was thinking about this before we got on. Like, I don't think I've been on any of our social media pages really in the last week or so because there's just been so much behind the scenes stuff. Like so many phone calls, so many meetings, so many different things that are happening. Things are ramping up. And a lot of that has to do with just the passion level that's really increased right now. And we need to be able to capitalize on those things. So anyway, a lot of good stuff. And we'll get into that here in a minute. We just wanted to say welcome to everybody. There may be some who are brand new to us in the group. We want to say hello to you and welcome to Unmasked Tulare County. Welcome to Sunday Night Live. And this is just a little live video that we do every week that goes over maybe some of the stuff that's happened in the last week and things that are coming up just so we can be on the same page and stay informed.
Yep. But again, we try and keep it to more local stuff within Tulare County. Of course, it doesn't always end up that way, but we are really big on kind of taking back our community.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, you can find us. Obviously, you have found us if you are watching this, but you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Telegram. We have a Telegram page, Unmasked Tulare County. Let me get some of these up here so you can see it. One thing I will mention, I did create. Some of you may have seen it. This Unmasked Tulare County that you're seeing on the screen, right there. That is a Facebook group. And that's what everybody is basically in. We have all our interactions, all that kind of stuff. That's the one that's blown up, and we've, had a good time with it over the last 9 months. We did just start what's called a Facebook page, which is a public page that is, it really allowed, the reason we started it was really to be able to share things publicly, to be able to do advertisements, although our first advertisement got rejected. But, it allows us to do more things than what you can do in a group. So some of you may have seen this thing pop up and you're like, what is this Unmasked Tulare County page? That's just it's a public page. We'll give like official announcements and things off of that. But you guys know one of the frustrating things about the group is that it's private and you can't take something that's posted there and share it to the masses, right? So this is one way we can do that. When we have official news, or if we're sharing flyers for events, or any of these things that are going on, we'll probably put those on the Facebook page, and then they can be shared publicly. So if you haven't seen it, you can go to Unmasked Tulare County. It'll show up as a page. There's no asterisk in the group page. This is kind of weird because I'm having to go backwards. Anyway, no asterisk in the actual the group page. But you can go check that out. Click on, like or follow or whatever it is, and then you'll get that info.
The good thing about that is that it'll help because we get a lot of requests to post things in the group. Mm-hmm. I think this will help kind of eliminate some of the clutter. So if you want to find out information about like what's going on, what events we have coming up, the page is probably going to be a better place for that.
Yeah. Because stuff gets lost. It does.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever done this. If you've been like, oh, I remember a week ago, somebody posted this thing, and you start like scrolling through the feed to see if you can find it. And like
and then
20
like an
minutes
hour
later. Yeah. It's crazy. So anyway, we've got the presence on Facebook. We've also, for those of you who don't know, we have an Instagram page. You can follow us there at Unmasked Tulare County with the underscores. Good news about that. We actually found somebody to manage that page for us. So Tara Ferreira, if you are out there, thank you so much for being willing to do that. It's just, guys, with all of these social media accounts, it's hard and it takes so much time to manage these things well. And Marilyn and I have kind of been talking, and we're like, man, we have to delegate some of this stuff more because it is like 24/7, 365. Yeah. So anyway, we're going to be using Instagram more. And thank you to Tara for that also. And I don't even have a little thing for this one. Well, let's go through these other ones. We have Telegram. So if you are on Telegram, you can go check out Unmasked Tulare County on Telegram. That's become a pretty active group. So you'll get information there that you may not get on Facebook or anywhere else. We also have our YouTube channel. So I know a lot of you are watching. It looks like we've got 10 or so people live with us on YouTube right now. I want to say welcome to all of you, but we'd love to see that audience grow as well. So you can go on there, you can click subscribe and put the little alert button that tells you whenever we go live. Yeah, ring that bell, and then you'll know whenever we are doing something live, which is great. And the one I don't have a little doohickey for is we just this last week started a TikTok channel. And we've tried to avoid TikTok as much as possible, but we decided that especially trying to reach out to young people, teenagers, although we found out there's a lot of not so young people on TikTok as well. So we figured out it was time, found somebody to manage that for us. Shout out to Misha Brooks for taking that on, and she's already posted a few. I don't even know what they are, little videos and stuff that are reels.
Are they reels?
I think they're reels.
I don't know.
But are really well done, and so go check that out. If you are a TikTok user, you can find it at Unmasked Tulare County. And, the more we can get going there, the better. So anyway, there's a lot of different ways where you can find us. We also have a website, www.unmaskedtularecounty.com. Paul Belt is our webmaster, does a great job keeping things up to date there.
Yes.
That'll enable you to even sign up for an email list or a text list so you can just keep engaged. So the whole point is we want to be able to reach you wherever you are and make sure that you're getting the information that you need to jump out there and make a difference. So anyway, yeah, that's a mouthful going through all that stuff.
Right? You need to take a breath?
I know. I need water. Go.
Okay.
Take over.
Well, I like to go through and see who's on. So usually when we do our lives, then I'm on my phone because I'm always on my phone because I'm glued to my phone. But I like to look and see who's on Facebook. So I can see who's on Facebook. We can see it on Restream, but it doesn't tell us who the name is. So I have to be on here to see who the name is.
Yeah.
So let's see who's on here. Okay, so we have Paul Belt. Hey, Paul. Kara. Hey, Kara. Joseph. Hey, Joseph. Lori. Tammy. Ashley. Ray Dean. Let's see.
And probably a whole bunch of people who.
And then Stephanie.
It doesn't always show up when somebody comes on either. So if you're there with us and we didn't mention your name, throw your name, say hi in the comments. The other thing that does is it helps with the algorithms, and the more interaction there is, and you guys are great about this. There's always like hundreds of comments when we get done with this, but the more interaction there are, the higher it shows up, the bigger priority it gives when people are scrolling through Facebook.
We're being really, really shadow banned, really bad on Facebook.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yep.
Really quick, Stephanie commented, she said, Valley Life Charter School drafted a letter of resolution for the mask and vaccine mandates last Tuesday.
Which is awesome.
She said, we did it, and my daughter is not wearing a mask at school since last Thursday.
Fantastic.
That is amazing.
Yeah, that's great. And we're starting to see
awesome.
We're starting to see more movement that direction, which is one of the things that we're really excited about. We have some districts and schools, for example, Valley Life Charter, who have come out and said, you know what, we're taking a hard stance, which is great. And we've also had kids just on their own and parents saying, you know what, we're taking a stand and we're going to not comply with this stuff. And kids are starting to go to school more and more without masks. And there's been there have been kind of a mixed bag of results, right? Sometimes there have been kids who have been kind of isolated and even suspended or expelled in certain districts. Other districts, they've just kind of said, okay, you guys can't be in your normal class, so we're putting you all in the library or different things. So there's been a mixed bag of results. You guys are seeing the videos and things from all over the state and even the country, where more and more kids are banding together. And I think it's just fantastic that this is happening. And we want to encourage that as much as we can.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that more here in just a few minutes.
I'm proud of our kids that are standing up and saying no more. I mean, courage is contagious. So huge kudos to those kids that are doing that.
Absolutely. So anyway, let's do a giveaway real quick. We'll do a little interactive stuff. We like to do this.
I like this part.
Yeah, this is fun. So
hang on, I always do this wrong.
Here we go. Okay, so what this is, again, is a window sticker. We do have a couple of these. I know, like Pamela, you're on here, and you won one a couple weeks ago that we still have. Assuming that you're going to be at the rally on Saturday, we'll give that to you. And then,
you must be at the rally in order to win.
In order to pick it up. But I think the last couple of stickers that we had winners for, we still have. So we're going to have to do a little better job getting these to you. But hopefully you'll be at the rally, the Freedom Rally on Saturday, the 26th at Mooney's Grove, which we'll also be talking about here in a few minutes. And then we can get this stuff to you. So let's give away this window sticker. We always come up with questions that you can't go on Google or whatever and find the answer to. So, it generally has to do with us because that's what we know best.
Yeah, kind of.
So several weeks ago, we asked how long we'd been married, right?
I think so, yeah.
We did ask that question. The answer is 18 years. We've been married for 18 years. It'll be 19 in May. So that's a hint kind of to the next question. So our question for tonight, in order to win this sticker, is in what year did Marilyn and I start dating? So you get one guess per person. Don't just blast the comments there, Elizabeth. But
is Elizabeth here tonight?
I don't know.
Elizabeth,
I haven't
if you're
seen
there,
her.
comment. I miss you.
So anyway, what year did Marilyn and I start dating? So go ahead and drop your comments in the comment section. Let's see what y'all come up with. I see a 2001, not quite. 96, that's a good guess, but nope, not quite. Keep them coming. What do you guys think? When did we start dating? Okay, I'm seeing a 1999, and I'm seeing I see two 2000s. Who got in on that one first?
Which one?
I don't know. I see they came from Facebook. So
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did.
No, they didn't.
Right there. There's one. Shelly.
That's not. What are you looking at?
That says 2000 right there.
Oh, yeah.
Shelly Lyons. Shelly.
What?
Shelly Lyons. Huh? Are you confused right now?
Yeah.
Why are you confused?
That's not the right year.
When did we? Oh crap. That's hilarious.
Oh my God. What's he talking about?
That's oh man.
1982.
Okay, guys, I gotta go. I have to prepare the couch for my my sleep tonight.
Hang on. So
Somebody got it.
no
up here, yeah.
Right
there.
here.
Yeah. That's Pamela. Dang, Pamela, you been stalking us or what? So she said 1999, which is the correct answer. Although there was one on Facebook too. So Pamela, I'm gonna
Stephanie.
So Stephanie, okay.
See Stephanie.
Stephanie Allen. Or Sticer. So Pamela, since you've won, we'll give you something else since you probably don't want two of those stickers on your car. But yeah, Stephanie, you'd be the winner. So 1999, not 2000, would be the correct answer.
I was like, 2000?
Sorry.
I'm like, we even went over the answer.
I know. I'm going to say it's still some leftover brain fog. How about that?
His jet lag. Oh.
Yep. Great job. So like I said, Pam will get you some other kind of swag that, that'll work. And then who was it that won? Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, Stephanie. So yeah, we started dating in 1999, got married in 2003, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Got married in 03. You notice I stepped to the side in case she was going to start swinging at me.
I know that he knows that because we talked about it, and he's actually better at remembering these dates than I am. So
that's funny. So anyway, congratulations to our winners. You got some
good job, Stephanie.
Some stickers where you can rock it loud and proud, which is fantastic.
Okay, real quick, let's go back. It said, was that Gilbert that guessed 1982?
Bro, 1982. That's the year we were born.
I was almost born in 1983 for the record.
That's true. All right, let's keep moving. Okay, for the sake of time here. All right, so we usually do kind of a weekend review. We got a couple things that we want to hit on real quick, and then we're going to transition. We actually have a guest coming on with us. Now, I know Paul had put out there, some big stuff about a guest that kind of fell through, but we have an equally amazing guest that's coming on with us that you guys will recognize and you will appreciate because she's awesome. But just going through the weekend review, we saw that the governor and his minions came out with some announcements or lack of announcements, right, on kind of the next phase of what's going to happen with COVID. And I know a lot of us have been looking around the country and we've been seeing mask mandates really around the world. We've been seeing these things drop as they realize that we're getting more into an endemic phase of this situation. And so we were hopeful, but maybe naive, being in California, thinking that they would just go ahead and follow suit. So the governor did come out with what he is calling the SMARTER plan. I don't know if you guys have seen this. The SMARTER plan, it's an acronym, actually stands for what?
Shots, masks, awareness, readiness, testing, education, and RX.
Okay, so that's
RX,
apparently
like prescription.
Yeah, so that's apparently what our next phase of this in California is.
So this is what we have to look forward to.
Yeah, I guess so.
So
in my opinion,
what have we been doing for the last 2 years?
In my opinion, as I started reading through this, I actually threw open my mouth a little bit and had to stop because I was just like, man, all this is it's creating industry. It's creating long-term industry where some of their buddies are going to be able to make boatloads of money on doing these different things, and it's so frustrating. So yeah, somebody had commented in here, literally nothing is changing.
Yeah,
That
was
is Kara. Yeah, you're exactly right. Somebody had another acronym in there for it. I think that's probably appropriate as well. There's, it's one of those things. And I mean, if we all know, who we're dealing with here. We all know that, this is Gavin Newsom, this is teachers unions, this is, all these people who are going to continue doing what they're doing. But I know a lot of us probably had that little glimmer of hope that things were going to, change and get better. And then they started opening their mouths and we realized that was not going to happen.
I guess I'm a little more pessimistic about it. I didn't really have a glimmer of hope, just because I know who our governor is.
Yeah, it's crazy. So anyway, we just wanted to sort of touch on that. One thing that, and I'm going to apologize because I got to get to my phone real quick.
While you do that, I want to read Kara's comment because she said, I did see that someone posted that he said the teachers unions are stopping him from lifting the mandates for kids.
Yeah.
So that kind of lets you know
who's in charge.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's crazy. So
if we have any teachers that are on right now, I would like to maybe encourage you guys to consider opting out of the union.
Yeah.
There are ways to do that.
Yeah. There are, and there's, there are better opportunities out there. And I know one of the things as we've talked to teachers, and there's this misconception out there that if you opt out of the teachers union, you're going to lose, all of this different stuff. And that's the only way that you can get bonded and all that. That's all a lie. And it's designed coming from your teachers union to keep you in there. And, the system that they have set up it's kind of a brilliantly evil system, because the people who are making the overall decisions for the California teachers unions are not making decisions that are in the best interest of anybody except for themselves. And the people who are local, like the local union leaders, a lot of those folks are, some of them are evil as well, but some of them are just trying to do what they can locally, and they do a good enough job locally where everybody feels like, oh yeah, we're getting represented well, like on the local level. But really those dues that you pay, those go to the top level political animals. And even if you've opted out of the political side of it, like you're still donating a bunch of money to an organization that does a lot of evil in Sacramento. So, it's like Marilyn said, opting out is a great way to go. And there are plenty of options for doing that. I know.
And I've heard you can get like you can get a similar policy that has better coverage and it's actually
half the price,
cheaper and stuff. So I don't know. I'm not a teacher. I've never had to look into that, but I mean, it's something I think that teachers should at least consider.
Absolutely.
I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but just it's an option.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people didn't realize that it was an option.
Right. Yeah. Well, and they'll tell you it's not an option. Like you'll go to do it and sometimes they'll say, well, you can't do that. Or they'll say, they'll give you every reason why you need to stay in. I mean, it's in their best interest to make sure you stay there. But, that's obvious. That is totally your choice. You're not going to lose wages. You're not going to lose, benefits. You're not going to lose any of that kind of stuff. People are commenting in the comments about, American Educator Association. That's one that we've heard of that, is an option. There's several of them. So, if you are a teacher or a teacher, probably encourage them to jump out of that, because like, they said earlier that, it's really the unions that have been controlling a lot of this kind of stuff. And they've actually come out and said that, because the unions aren't comfortable with it, that's one of the reasons we're going to continue to do the things that we're doing.
Well, and didn't they put like millions towards his recall?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
So that's,
yeah. So anyway, so I mean, that's absolutely correct. And, the point, for what we're trying to make is if you are a teacher, an educator, we highly consider you highly recommend you consider getting out of that union. So anyway, bottom line with the smarter plan was really nothing's going to change. Now, some of you may remember Tracy Henderson, who is an attorney that joined us a couple weeks ago, actually on this live. And I texted her earlier with a question about some of this stuff. And she sent me a screenshot of one of the pages, the 30 pages from that smarter document. And I'm just going to read the bullet point in here. It says, prepare for the eventual change. to universal school masking in schools, which include ensuring equitable access to vaccination, testing, and individual protections for students, families, and school staff. Universal indoor masking has been the cornerstone of the state and national strategy to keep schools open. The goal of such efforts remain to preserve the sanctity and safety of in-person schooling. So, I mean, that kind of tells you what their plan is going forward. They're not going to make this change on their own. We're going to have to force them to make this change. And, that's going to come through non-compliance, mass non-compliance, like lots and lots of people. We need thousands that are going to just go to school with no masks. What are they going to do? So anyway, we will talk more about that a little bit, but that's kind of what happened with that smarter plan. Second thing we want to talk about that happened this week was just, the Sun Gazette and also the Visalia Times Delta to a lesser degree. But the Sun Gazette, which is the newspaper out of Exeter, put out a hit piece on us. Basically, that's the only way I can say that. Is the article was about Visalia Unified and the notices that had been served to them by Crystal Reynolds and several of you 2 weeks ago. And they basically just threw something out there saying unmasked Tulare County is doing this unlawful and ridiculous deal with VUSD, and we talked to an attorney and they're not worried about it. And then they just went on this whole assassination attempt basically of unmasked Tulare County, and they were accusing us of preying on the uneducated and illiterate people of Tulare County. And we're just like, oh my gosh, it honestly read like something that came from the Babylon Bee. Like it was ridiculous. But that came out there. Just so you guys know, I did write a response to that, and I sent it over to them today. And I sent it to their president and owner and also their publisher, and basically said, look, you guys, you ran this hit piece on us. I'm not mad about it, except, all the journalism years that I took, journalistic integrity was the most important thing. And nobody ever reached out to Crystal or us to find out our side of it. Nobody reached out, for the opposite side of point of view or any of that kind of stuff. So you guys, at the very least, owe us the opportunity to respond. And so I wrote a kind of an op-ed that hopefully they'll have the integrity to post, and it more explains, who we actually are rather than, how they described us in that article, which was just, like I said, is just a total hit piece, which on the one hand, we're like, hey, any publicity is good publicity, right? So
it didn't, honestly, it didn't bother me. And I think it's because, I don't know the
author.
Yeah, I don't know the author personally, so I'm like, whatever. He doesn't know. You don't know my life,
right?
Sorry, that's kind of an inside joke. But so it didn't bother me. It kind of is what it is. But I'm thankful for Jimmy because he's a fantastic writer, and that he wrote that op-ed. I'm hoping that they do publish it. I did let some of my friends know about this article, and they were able to leave comments on Instagram, and they were like, really, and they were totally respectful about it. There was no name calling and stuff like that, but they were like, this is clearly a biased article. It was completely, and they didn't even interview anybody. How can you have an unbiased opinion when you didn't interview Crystal, you didn't interview Jimmy or myself? Really? We didn't even know. We didn't even know until people started sending us this article, and I was like, oh, people are talking about us. I'm like, okay, that's good.
So yeah, I mean, it was just.
But Paul, real quick, okay, he said, great picture of Marilyn though.
That's true.
So. I'm sorry, but I kind of agree. I take terrible pictures, you guys. I think that's part of the reason why I'm kind of camera shy on here, is because I feel like I'm like, but I'm like, hey, I feel like that's actually a good picture.
It was a good picture.
So
yep. You were looking totally hot.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Sure. Yeah. No, it was. So anyway, that if you guys want to go and find, it's the Sun Gazette. You can find them on Facebook, on Instagram. leave a comment and, be respectful about it, but be firm, just tell them, look, this is not the way that journalism is supposed to go. And I mean, they flat out, I mean, there were lies. It was like not even partial truths in a lot of it, trying to make us out to be, like they were saying, and they've said this a few times about me, that I got up at a Exeter town hall and basically was talking about, raising an army. And the way they phrase it is though we're trying to be violent. And I'm like, if you've listened to anything that I've ever said, that's the last thing that we've ever advocated for is violence. We're all about nonviolent ways of doing things. And so anyway, it's crazy. So hopefully they will, like I said, have the integrity to post the response. If not, I'm going to post it everywhere so y'all can read it and share it and just put them on blast if they don't issue the opportunity to allow us to publish that thing. So anyway, just expect to see more from there. Hopefully you'll see it published in their paper. And if not, then we'll publish it everywhere instead. So anyway, moving on to some of the stuff that's upcoming. We're actually going to bring on our good friend, Crystal Reynolds. Crystal, are you there with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello, hello. There she is. So first of all, you want to explain the ears that are on your head?
Okay, I'm so sorry for the kitty ears. My daughter's earbuds that I was going to use tonight were not charged, so I had to borrow the kitty ears for tonight.
It's okay.
So.
I think it's a good look for you. I'd say rock it. In the comments, let us know. You think she should keep it for future things or go with something different? But anyway, we asked Crystal to join us to talk about a couple of things because there's some big things that are going on in Visalia specifically, and some big things that are going on with our Freedom Rally. And before we get to Visalia, because that's going to take a few minutes of conversation, we did want to let everybody know there are several school board meetings that are going on this week. Tulare City School District is going to be Tuesday at 5:30. We've already served them notices, affidavits at the last, we served the affidavits at the last school board meeting. But we do encourage everybody to attend, let them know how you feel, let them know about the hypocrisy with the celebrities and politicians at the Super Bowl, all of that kind of stuff. I think it's a great time to apply pressure and just kind of, keep that pressure up with them. Same thing, Exeter School Board, I believe, is meeting. They're generally the same week. Wednesday at 5 o'clock is how they do theirs. Porterville will be meeting on Thursday, I'm pretty sure. They do theirs midday, which is kind of weird. You can reach out to Blessings of Liberty, who can give you more information on that one. But we also have Visalia, and Visalia is going to be a really interesting meeting for several reasons. One of them is, what Crystal has going on, but there's been a huge push, if you guys haven't seen it, for people to show up at the Tuesday board meeting for, like I said, several reasons. There's an Instagram group who are, friendly group with us, like-minded folks. It's called We the People Visalia. And the couple who runs that, their daughter's gotten into some trouble at, I think it's Green Acres, right? Crystal, can you correct me if I'm wrong? But
actually, I'm not sure what school that was.
Okay, but it's one of the VUSD schools. Their daughter has basically been taken out of class and segregated, illegally segregated, because she said, I'm not going to wear masks anymore. And so We the People has really made this huge push. I mean, they printed off thousands of physical flyers that they passed out over the weekend, and have been doing a huge online push. I think their following on Instagram has like doubled or tripled just in the last week or so. But I mean, they're carrying some fire right now about getting some stuff done, and their intent is to have hundreds of people at VUSD to go and let everybody know that this is not right. And so that effort, combined with efforts that have been made by Crystal and Melissa Brewer and other people who've been a part of our group for a while, I'm expecting that the Visalia Unified Board meeting is going to be really, really interesting. But Crystal, what do you have going on Tuesday?
So on Tuesday, my part, or what I'm planning to do, is I am planning to serve the board with the affidavits that we had signed. I believe we have about 24 printed right now that will be going out to the board. And this is, I guess, just that next step in the process. We had, I served him back in December with the medical inquiry. And
Yeah.
then after that, served them with the notice of clean hands. And now this is the clean hands, but the affidavit portion. And my understanding is that going forth, this is kind of leading us to potentially grand jury and bonds. My understanding is that we also will have someone bringing up bond information or serving the board with the claim for the insurance bonds. And and this is just another individual that has done this on their own. And I'm just grateful because I think that we're kind of coming together and doing a bunch of different I guess avenues that I'm hoping will lead us to some kind of a vote. There is actually on the agenda. I guess they have a letter that they put together that they're planning to send to Newsom, and I believe that they're going to try to vote on this letter. In my opinion, the letter is very weak. It is not something I would want to send. And I'm hoping that they hear their constituents, but I plan to speak on that letter as well. I don't think that that's going to be effective enough. I think that they need a resolution. I think that they need a very, effective this date. We are no longer enforcing masking or however it's worded, but it's right now it just sounds a little bit too much like, please give us our district back, when in reality they have the power to take that district back. They need to stand up and do it.
Right. So I'm going to back up just a little bit, Crystal, because there was a couple comments that we want to address. If I can get this out of my throat. That's weird.
I agree with Crystal really quick about, it's like they're asking for their control back. I think we're kind of past the point of asking, and that they need to basically tell him, like, no, enough is enough, no more. I mean, it's been we're coming up on 2 years, and I feel like at this point it's almost like asking your abuser to stop abusing you.
Exactly.
Really. And no more, so
we need to take it back. So someone had asked, who was that?
That was Kara.
Oh, Kara, excuse me. Had asked what happens after they're served, or what happens after they're served. So just to kind of go in and talk about all of these processes, this is about pressure, and this is about building a case. So Crystal had mentioned that, that whole process of serving that written inquiry and then not having it responded to, serving them with notices, not having them responded to. Now we're serving them with notarized legal affidavits. They're probably not going to respond to them either. What we're doing is we're building a case. And so part of what has been said in these articles or these hit pieces is that the attorneys are not worried about, these citizen filed affidavits or citizen filed notices. And the reason why attorneys would not be worried about that is attorneys believe that everything runs through the bar process, the attorney process, right? But there's this whole thing called the grand jury that belongs to the people, and it's a way for people to be held accountable. When I say people, I mean elected officials, everything from your school board members to your city council people to the jail and the sheriff and all that. This grand jury goes through and makes sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And if they're not, there's authority there to be able to issue corrective action, which may even include disbanding a board, like an entire board if necessary. So this is an avenue that we're pursuing, and we're building a case to be able to do that. So the case we're building is, look, we've been informing these folks for months, and in some cases years, that they need to take a different look at what's happening, and they have not. And we've even issued them all of these different opportunities to correct what they're doing, and they are not. We've placed demands on them to correct what they're doing, and they are not. So there's no way that they can say, oh, we didn't know, or we didn't understand what the rules or the laws or the constitutionality of this stuff was, because we put that now all in their hands. And so the nice thing about this is this can be used for several different things. A lot of people have jumped into the like bonds for the win strategy, right? In order to effectively go after a bond, I know like in my business, if I was to go after someone's bond, I would have to have a case. They're not just going to say, oh yeah, you filed a claim for a bond, so I'm going to give you a bunch of money. Like you have to have a case. And so what this does is allows that case to be built. Same thing with the grand jury. Same thing if we're going after insurance policies. Same thing if we're suing the district. Like any of these things that we decide that we're doing, and we're pursuing all of these avenues. A, it puts a ton of pressure on the district, and B, that case is being built in order to do those things. So one of the things I love about Tuesday and the way this is shaping up is in Visalia, you're going to have Crystal serving them with affidavits. So you're going to go in there and make them nervous when it comes to that. And then you've got, and all the reason we're not naming a name on this bonds thing is we didn't get permission to name. So we're not trying to withhold any sort of credit or anything like that, but we don't like to name people's names without their permission. So, this bond service is going to happen as well. You're going to have a ton of angry parents that we, the people of Visalia, are bringing. And then you're going to have them trying to vote on a letter that is a garbage letter, in my opinion. It's not it doesn't do anything. Just like Crystal said, it's basically a letter that would be designed to appease us and get us to go away, but it's not, because it doesn't return
I feel like it's
anything.
going to have the opposite effect.
I think it will. And everybody who goes to this thing needs to understand that if they pass the letter as it's written, it's not going to do anything to further what we're doing. So, or to make the change. So that's exciting. So Crystal, I'm stoked for you. I'm hoping that you wear those ear things when you're there at the meeting. But
yeah. They might get on me because I can wear the ears, but not the mask. So.
Oh, okay. That's probably true.
But one thing I was going to say is what Jimmy was talking about with the process and building that case. The one thing that, it seems a little bit frustrating, but it's actually a good thing, is when they're not responding. That is even better for our case. I know it sounds weird, but it is, because they're actually they're not doing their job. They're not doing what the people are asking, or what they're they're not representing what the will of their people are asking them to do.
Exactly.
So it is building a very strong case. As far as the letter resolution, my plan is I actually am preparing a different type of letter or resolution, and I'm hoping that maybe they will consider it and see if they will vote on it. I don't know if they will, but my letter will be definitely a lot more firm, and to the point of, we're as effective immediately. We are no longer enforcing masks.
Yeah.
I'm still working on it, but that's my plan.
So you're going to give them an alternative option to what they've already presented.
Yes, I'm still working on it.
No, and that's great. I think that's kind of what, when it gets to that portion of the board meeting, that needs to be the focus, is do not pass this as it's written. I think that's fantastic if you give them an alternative, but that needs to be the push when anybody's getting up there and speaking. And for those who don't know, you can go to the VUSD website. I don't know if there's already a link in the comments, or if Paul or somebody can go ahead and drop a link in the comments to the VUSD board website, where you can look at the agenda. You'll want to click on the board packet. That's going to allow you to scroll through there and see the copy of the letter that they're proposing. And you can read through that. And, on the one hand, I was looking at it and I'm like, well, I appreciate the fact that they seem to be taking a stance on choice, and the fact that they want to allow for choice. But really all it says is, okay, Governor, will you please reconsider and, give us the ability to offer choice to our people? That's kind of how they ended it. So there's no teeth in it. There's no.
Well, and think about it. We already know who's controlling the governor. You really think that he's going to listen to that letter?
Right. So
let's be real.
Yep. Thank you, whoever posted that. I can't see on Facebook who that was.
I'm guessing it was probably Paul.
Right on. Yep. That was Paul. Thank you so
Paul.
much. Thank you for running that kind of stuff in our comments as well. So good stuff. So Crystal, there is an RSVP process, right? If anybody wants to be inside and speak.
Yes. So it should be going up on Monday. I'm hoping it'll still. I forgot Monday's a holiday, so I'm hoping it's usually on Monday that they post up that RSVP link. But I forget it's President's Day, so they may not. I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah.
But they usually have that link open on Monday, and I believe it's from noon and then till the next day, Tuesday at 3 p.m.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. And so what we've kind of been telling people is that with the amount of people that we're expecting at this board meeting, if you want to get a slot to speak, you better get in there right about noon tomorrow. Make sure that you're in there early and you get your spot reserved. So my feeling is that there's going to be way more people there than what they're going to be able to fit inside. Probably way more people there wanting to speak than what there's going to be time to allow. So again, if you want your voice to be heard, make sure that you get that in there quickly. So it opens up at noon tomorrow. So you can do like you're doing a concert ticket or something and just sit there and, wait for it to refresh or something. And make sure you get your RSVP in there. Yep. Good stuff. Okay. So the other thing we wanted to talk about coming up this week is that we have a freedom rally that is going to be happening on Saturday, the 26th. And I wanted to talk about, hang on, I'm going to see if I can pull up the flyer for that because I had one from last time. Blah, blah, blah. Sorry, guys. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this up on the screen as well. You can kind of see the flyer for that. Kind of an interesting story. Whoa, what happened?
It went away.
Oh, I didn't loop it. That's why. Okay, there it goes. So anyway, up on the screen there, you'll see the flyer for our Freedom Rally. This one's at Mooney's Grove in Visalia, which I'm excited about because it's kind of a centralized place where a lot of people can go. There's a lot of momentum in Visalia right now. And so, getting as many people there as we possibly can from Visalia to come out, kind of hear about some of the stuff that's going on and, be given tools and equipment. And really the other side of this that's great is just meeting people and meeting the like-minded people who are the freedom fighters that we're getting together with. So we want to encourage everybody who can possibly be there to be there. Marilyn did something awesome on Facebook is she changed her profile picture to the rally flyer. So, we'd encourage everybody to do that just for the next week as well. Help spread the word about this thing, but share it everywhere. If you're on Telegram, if you're on Twitter, if you're on, TikTok or any of those places, we want to share these things and get it everywhere that we possibly can. So you guys will enjoy this because I know how most of you are, but we've had a hiccup a little bit in our ability to hold this the way that we wanted to. We went through the permit process and Bruce White out of Blessings of Liberty in Porterville went in, paid for the permit, got that thing going. And then somebody at the county parks or wherever happened to see one of our flyers and said, oh, wait a minute, this is a different kind of event than we thought it was. And we're going to have to do sort of a different type of process, for this event. And they basically gave him this gigantic, large event permit application thing that he had to do with like a $2 million insurance policy and like all of this different stuff that had to be filled out. And they kind of, maybe strategically gave that to him like a day before it all had to be turned in. And so fortunately, we kind of have an inside with somebody who works there. And they said, what everybody does, because nobody wants to go through the headache of doing all that stuff, is they just do it without the permit. So they get there early, they reserve the arbors that they want to use, and then they just do it the way they want to. And so that's what we're going to end up doing because, they kind of screwed us over on the permit side of that. Like Marilyn and I are going to get there super early, make sure that we get the Arbor 9 that we have planned and just kind of go off the way we had planned to do that. Fortunately, we are going to be able to get power, electricity without the permit, which will be great. But one of the things that is the big change that just happened is we found out that the food vendors that we had planned on having come out there can't come out there if we don't have like the permit to be able to do that. So all of those guys ended up pulling out. We had actually, I want to say 6 or 7 lined up.
Well, and didn't they cancel because of they double booked?
There was some of that too, but the big thing was the lack of
permit.
permit kind of left us in a lurch. So what we're doing, and actually this is something that was recommended on this Sunday Night Live several weeks ago, is they said, hey, can we get together and like do some kind of potluck hangout sort of thing? And now the answer is yes. We are going to be asking people to, just bring something to share. And Crystal has put together something pretty amazing that I'm going to ask you to speak to. I see it's already in the comments, but Crystal, kind of talk about what you did there.
So I put together, it's an online link called Perfect Potluck. And so what it has is it has the ability to click on this link, and it like kind of lists out everything that we're hoping to bring to the potluck. So it has, like your main dishes, your side dishes, and then it'll have like numbers listed so you can actually go in and enter what you would like to bring. So I kind of put together this little list. It also has two where you can bring in, if you don't want to bring an item, if you want to bring a donation, there's a link on there as well to where it'll connect you to the PayPal for Unmasked, and you can donate money if you'd rather do money versus versus a product. The only thing is, and this is something I didn't clarify on there, is I guess at this time we're not really planning to have a barbecue on site. So anything that would come in would probably need to be prepared at this time.
Yeah.
So that's something I should have put in the notes, and maybe I'll go back and fix that. I think I saw a comment too, because I'm watching my phone as well, from Ray Dean, about the potluck flyer needing to be, the flyer needed to be with the potluck sign up. And I'm going to go back and see if I can do that. I just want to explain, Ray Dean, what was happening was when I was actually trying to put the flyer up with that. And every time I would put up the flyer, the link would disappear. So I couldn't have, I don't think it was allowing me to put the poster and the link on the same, on that same post, but I'm going to go back and try it again. I might be able to figure that out, but I think I put it like right in the comments, and I know it's not the best place to find it, but it would be nice if I can put the flyer and then have the link right below. So I'll work on that.
Sure. And again, just so everybody, and even like the flyer, somebody might say, well, why do you have on-site food and coffee vendors in the flyer? Because the flyer was created several weeks ago, and all of this stuff didn't come down literally until Friday. Like we had this discussion and had to adjust and shift what we're doing on Friday. So, the flyer kind of is what it is. It's out there, and we're just going to have to fill in the gap. So we are working on having somebody bring in some barbecue. That's one of the things that we're on Tuesday hopefully going to have an answer to. But yeah, I mean, all the other stuff that needs to be done for a potluck, all of you have been to these things before, and you've been to a part of potlucks. And one of the most frustrating things is you don't know what everybody else is bringing, and the management of that can be so difficult. So Crystal, found this, it's an app, right, that you went through, or a website or something, but it's an awesome way for us to be able to kind of see what's already being brought and what needs to be. So
it's very nice. The one thing I forgot to mention too is if you decide like you change your mind and you're going to bring something else, you can actually go back and edit what you're bringing.
Okay.
I was playing around with it earlier today, and I went from bringing a 12 pack to bringing extra drinks. I was able to add on. It's really, really a nice, anybody that does potlucking, I would totally recommend it. And it doesn't take long. I think Marilyn already put down a few items.
It was so really easy to sign up that I just kind of kept clicking on things. I was like, oh, I can do that and that and that and that. And then I was like, oh, wow, that was easy.
I do need to add, though, I forgot to put on there, and I'm going to add that hopefully later tonight, is I need to add, we do probably need ice. And if anybody has access to extra ice chests that we can have on site to borrow, I think I need to add that on there.
Okay. Right on. Cool. Well, again, thank you for doing that. We just want to ask everybody who's going to be there to, get on there, figure out what you can bring. I mean, if you want to bring, we need things like napkins and utensils and stuff too. So
I think I signed up for all that.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we're good.
I'm sorry. I signed up. I signed up for the easy stuff, guys.
There you
I'm
go.
not gonna
There
lie.
you go. But bring something to share. I would say too that, you know, if you're bringing a dish, a side dish or a main dish, like bring the serving spoon
Oh yeah,
as
good
well
idea.
with it, or the serving fork or whatever it needs to have, because that seems to always be a thing, right? Is everybody's scrambling at the last minute for extra spoons. So anyway, whatever you have, just go on the app, and that's awesome. I appreciate everybody, you know, in the comments saying what they have. If you can use the app, that way it's in one place. Because one of the hard things too is it's like, okay, who was it that said that they had that big ice chest? You know, and then you're trying to figure out like, okay, was that in the live? Was that in a post? Was that, you know, wherever?
Where
So
did
if
we
we
see
could get everybody to, you know, jump in there and, you know, say what you can bring and do all that.
Yeah,
Crystal,
just
do you
click
think
on
you
that
can you add ice to it?
Yeah, I was gonna say on the form on that online form, I will add ice and ice chests, and maybe I don't know how many ice
Perfect.
chests we want to do, maybe like 4 or something.
Yeah, if we have big
I'll
ones, that's probably good.
Yeah, I would think like maybe 4 of them. I'll put that down, and people can sign up for that.
Right. No, this is great. I mean, in one sense, like we're totally grassroots, right? Like everything about whatever we've done is grassroots. And you know, even in this instance where we had planned to bring in food trucks and all that, we're kind of going back to our grassroots nature in that, okay, now this is a potluck and everybody's got to step up and, you know, bring something. So in one hand, it's kind of exciting. I want to see how it turns out, but it'll be fun regardless of what happens. It'll be a good time. So want to make sure, again, if you can be there, we want you to be there and bring lots of friends to this rally. It's going to be,
and
it's going to be a good time.
if you can't even, if like I've seen some people comment that, you know, they might be late. That's not a problem either. It's not like you have to be there from 12 to 3.
Right.
You know, if you're going to be late, that's fine. Just come late. It's
and honestly,
no problem whatsoever.
And the way we're structuring this is the 12 to 1 hour is pretty much a social time. So we'll have music playing. We're going to be eating. We're going to be meeting people. We'll be hanging out. You know, people can get swag and stuff if they want to. But that first hour is going to be mostly the social time. The actual program with speakers and stuff won't happen until 1. So like if you couldn't get there till 1 or 2, or even get there at 2:30, I mean, just show up and let's say hi. And
we'll probably be there
people
well after 3 anyways. So
yeah, for sure.
Really quick, I want to put this out there. I dropped the ball as far as placing a t-shirt order. And so right now I don't really have very many extra Unmasked Tulare County t-shirts on hand. And a lot of people have been asking me for them. If anybody knows of a company that does t-shirts that might be able to have some done for us by Saturday, I did put in a I reached out to the people that normally do them, but I think because I dropped the ball and I put it in so late that they probably won't get done in time. But if you guys know of anybody locally that could probably do some t-shirts for us so that we could have t-shirts to sell on Saturday. I know a lot of people have been asking for t-shirts. So yeah, if you guys don't mind sending me a Facebook message and let me know who I can reach out to for that, I would appreciate it. And then Kara, we do have hats. So yeah, but I mean, not
more than just the one that's on there. We actually have a few different styles and stuff too. So those will all be out there.
Yeah, we do have hats. So, but t-shirts, it's kind of hard because the way that we typically do this is that I'll say, hey, I'm going to put in an order for t-shirts or sweatshirts. It was sweatshirts for a while, but now that it's
warming up,
kind of warm, I think we have a cold front coming.
It's going to get a little bit cooler
this week or something. I don't know. But anyways,
we're gonna have beautiful
people
weather.
People are talking about t-shirts, but usually how I do it is UMTC usually kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like we front the money for the t-shirts, and then when people pick them up, then that's how we get reimbursed. So we don't keep a lot of extra inventory because we're a grassroots movement and we don't have the extra money to put towards that.
Yeah, just keep inventory.
So just to keep an inventory. So anyways.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, reach out to Marilyn if you have something that way. I think that's probably all we needed to talk about on the Freedom Rally. So I'm going to pull this off there again. 12 to 3 Saturday, this coming Saturday, Mooney's Grove, Arbor 9, which is in the back, kind of back towards the left-hand side, back there. It's hopefully where you'll see all the patriotic people hanging out. So anyway, that's going to be a great time, great event, and we will see all of you there. So Crystal, did you have anything else that you wanted to throw in before we cut you loose?
No, but just if you're there on Saturday and we've never met, please feel free to say hi. I'd love to meet you guys. I see a lot of names. I just sometimes don't recognize the faces because I usually see you guys on like this on a live or something. So please feel free to say hi to myself, and my family's going to be there as well. So
awesome. Yeah, I guess that's a great point. This is a family event. Like we don't want it to just don't feel like you have to leave your kids at home or anything. Like, people be bringing kids. Your kids aren't going to be the only ones that'll be running around having a good time. So don't worry about that. Please bring your kids and your everybody. Bring your neighbors, your grandkids, your family, all of that stuff. So anyway, good times. Crystal, thank you so much for joining us.
All right, thank you.
And you can thank, was it Piper's headphones?
They're actually Ava's
they're
headphones.
Ava's. Well, thank Ava for the use of that. And all right, we'll catch up with you soon.
All right.
Thanks, Crystal. All righty, cool. All right, so we've got just one other thing really we want to talk about, and then we're going to end in prayer like we've started doing. And that is the fact that one of the exciting things that's happening right now is that there's sort of I guess I'd call it grassroots or just natural momentum that's growing at some of the schools. And, kids are saying, there are a lot of kids who are standing up and saying, you know what, we don't want to wear masks anymore. And so they're just kind of refusing to wear masks. And now the schools are having to figure out what to do with them. And a lot of them are segregating them and, telling them that they can't be with the other kids. But what we're seeing is that, when one or two start stepping out, then more of them start to join them. And there seems to be, a lot of frustration with what's gone on. Like the Super Bowl was a really big conduit for that. And then just the fact that the state has come out and basically told us they're not changing anything anytime soon. So there is some momentum that's growing. And we want to say that we throw everything that we are and we have behind that movement to, just gather groups of kids and have them not wearing masks. Like that's absolutely, what it's going to take to actually create and facilitate change on this. So, we are applauding and standing with everybody who's already done that. And, we're going to do everything that we can to encourage just more and more and more kids to do the same thing. So we're in the beginning phases of a new sort of campaign that we're going to be pushing. And it's called 2 Years is Too Long. We reserved a web domain called 2yearstoolong.com. And the whole idea behind this is that we're vastly approaching 2 years when they close down our schools. And because of that, we're looking at it and we're like, man, 2 years of all this stuff is just crazy. And that's way too long. And so what we're going to do is try to push this message out into the community everywhere that we can, through printed flyers, through banners, through, that's why we started TikTok, was to try to get in with the teenagers specifically and like that age group of people. That's why we're emphasizing Instagram and the different reels and things that you can use for that. That's why we started the Unmasked Tulare County page on Facebook, was so that we could do advertising and sharing more than what we already have. So we're going to throw everything we have at this to be able to just get word out to everybody, because like Marilyn said earlier, courage is contagious. And, when you're seeing videos of kids all over the state who are standing up in groups and just saying, we're not going to do this anymore, that's going to get contagious. And that's what's going to actually create change. So if we can get hundreds of kids at all the different school campuses who are doing this, they won't have an option but to make a change. And the tone of the letters that go to Sacramento are going to change, because the boards and the districts are going to say, we have to do something. Like, we can't control this and we can't keep the policies the way that they are, because people are just not obeying. People are just, engaging in some civil disobedience. And so we're going to be pushing everything we can. I've been in conversations with Paul about, developing this website. You saw at the very beginning of our live, and if you are joining us later on the live, if you go back and watch the first like 6 minutes of this live video, it was a beautiful beautiful video compilation, pretty much, of kids who are explaining why they don't think they should have to wear masks. And it's fantastic, and we need more of those videos. So if you have kids who are maybe they're on the shy side, maybe they don't want to go and speak at a school board meeting, maybe they're not the type who's going to step out and take leadership at their school, but maybe you could get them to just do like a little recording at the house. It doesn't have to be a 10-minute recording. We just need like a little 20 or 30-second blip about why they don't like to wear masks, why they feel like it hinders their educational process, what the problems are, how it makes them feel, all of those types of things. I'd love to have just dozens of these that we could throw in, just little tiny clips into our media advertisement and things like that. But we need more and more and more of these little clips. So we have a way of being able to get them to us. You can reach out to myself or Paul Belt, who's all over the comments here. Paul's the one who's kind of been putting that stuff together for us, but we definitely need that stuff. Did you have anything to add on that?
I don't think so.
Okay. One thing I did want to mention on this too is every one of our kids are different, right? I mean, even like in our own house, like our two boys are completely
Very
different. And, there's all sorts of different personalities. There's different strengths. There's different fears, anxieties. Like all of our kids are in a different place. And I wanted to encourage everybody to have conversations with your kids and meet them where they are. Because sometimes in situations like this, we can project our opinions, we can project our passions, we can project all of these things on our kids in a way that maybe they're not ready for it. Like somebody had just said something in here about, my daughter is shy and, she's starting to step out, and that's fantastic. And I've heard from several parents who are just like, man, my kid is scared. Like they're scared of getting in trouble. They're scared of, stepping out. They don't know they don't know what people are going to think about them, all of these things.
Well, even for example, our youngest, I guess for a while wasn't wearing a mask at school. And then I think what happened, I wasn't there, but this is the story that was relayed to me, was that I guess it got brought to the teacher's attention that he wasn't wearing a mask. And so the teacher was like, hey, Jacob, where's your mask at? And he's like, really? He's like, I haven't worn a mask for 3 days.
Right.
But it sounds like recently he has been wearing a mask, and I'll ask him about it. I'm like, Jacob, how come you're wearing a mask at school now? And he's like, because I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
And that's his personality. He's 14 years old. Many of you guys probably know he does have special needs. So cognitively, he functions probably closer to about a 6-year-old or so. And so he doesn't, he doesn't like to be in trouble. He doesn't like to, and I don't know that he would necessarily understand that he's not really in trouble.
Yeah, it's hard to explain that concept to him. And it's going to be the same for like our kindergartners or like people who have are young kids.
Exactly. But then on the flip side, we have a 17-year-old who's like, I'm not wearing a mask, and he's been sent to the office several times, and we've been
sent home.
And he's been sent home for refusing to wear a mask. And, and he doesn't have a problem kind of
pushing that line.
Yeah. But he has a different personality.
Sure.
And he has a different understanding. All kids are different. So
and that's
anyways,
the point, right?
I think that's
Yeah. And that's the point, is that all kids are different. And so we would just caution you to like take inventory of where your kid is at, and don't don't get frustrated necessarily if they're not exactly where you want them to be right now. Like, open up the dialogue, open up the conversations. Hopefully they can have some conversations with their classmates. Maybe, encourage that. Just ask them to have conversations with their classmates and say, hey, how do you guys feel about this? What if we just decided not to do it? Because one thing about kids, and junior high kids and high school kids especially, is that they will jump out there and do it when their friends are doing it, but maybe not jump out on their own. So, depending on where your student might be, just take inventory of that, because I can speak from experience. I've done some stuff like with sports where when my kids were young, like I pushed them really hard because it was like my dream for them to be a great baseball player. And I was kind of living vicariously through them, through my passion, and it wasn't necessarily his. And it ended up being kind of a bad deal. And so I always just try to encourage parents, and this is a great situation where it applies, is that, we have to meet them where they are and realize that our passions aren't always, they don't feel the same way or as strong sometimes as we do, and that's okay. So, don't obviously berate them or make them feel, because I mean, most kids, they want the approval of their parents. And just kind of meet them where they are. That's what we would get. And we just lost our lights. That's fun. Okay, well, we're a little darker now, so sorry about that. But anyway, just have the conversations. That's kind of what the point is. And try to encourage them, and at the very least have them have the conversations with their friends, and just see what kind of stuff comes out of that. But we definitely want to encourage everybody to engage in some civil disobedience, and have those conversations with your kids. Send as many of them to school without masks as possible. Realize that different districts will handle that a little bit differently. We've seen people, like we said, get unenrolled from school when they refuse to compromise. But it seems like most districts are segregating and pretty much just keeping these kids to themselves. But the more we can get, the better it's going to be. And so, just have those conversations. It'll be good. What do you got?
I just kind of want to go over some of these comments. These are some really good comments. Does KRC make shirts?
They have a company. The guy branched out. They're called Sign Ninja out of Visalia. They do good work, but he won't have them, I don't think, for us by the weekend. He's a little bit backlogged. He actually made some of our stuff for us early on. Wouldn't hurt to make that phone call. Maybe I'll reach out and see, but my guess would be, I think the last time he was 2 or 3 weeks out.
I don't remember who made that.
So somebody's a special education teacher. Her autistic kids are their autistic kids are really struggling. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, our son he's not autistic. He's intellectually disabled, but I'll have to show you guys one time. I have a picture of him when he was wearing a mask, and it's really disgusting because like right here, like where his mouth is, it's like it has all this saliva. So it was like he was like spitting in it, or he, well, I mean, it's like an exhaust, and so it was just collecting in it. So you can see it was a gray mask, and you can see where it was wet, and it breaks my heart. Like, how is this okay? I don't know. Yeah. I'm sorry. It's awful.
So let's see. Pam said, I've met so many special boys. Most are vaxxed injured. The mom tells me, that's a big part of it too.
Now, I don't know much about this, but from my understanding is that if you have a kiddo that has been vax injured, they should not have to receive any more vaccines after that. And I've also been told, and again, I don't know for sure, so this might be something to look into. If your kiddo has an IEP, which our son does, and I didn't know this until recently, is that if they have an IEP, I was told, and again, I don't know if this is true, I was told that they don't have to get any more vaccines. I don't know where I heard that, and I don't know if it's true.
I don't know.
Maybe
either.
Something to look into if
Sure.
if that could potentially apply to you.
Yeah. So just going through some of these comments, and I'm not going to read all of them because some of them are repetitive a little bit, but one says, I told my daughter I won't be mad at her if she doesn't wear it, but I also told her to be respectful to her teacher and don't give her attitude. Yeah. And I think that's the exact attitude to have, right? Mm-hmm. We tell our kids to respect authority, right? We tell our kids, to honor those who are, in authority over them. We don't want to completely undo that. There has to be a level of respect, but like we tell our kids, we respectfully decline to do that. And it doesn't have to be a yelling and screaming match. Let's see, we have a few teachers not wearing masks. Many of us have stopped testing weekly. I'm going to try something here real quick. Boom, look at that. We fancy. Many of us have stopped testing weekly. Our students are wearing masks under their nose. Awesome. That's fantastic. And that's kind of what we've seen at the high schools and the junior highs and stuff, and even the elementaries, is it all depends on the teacher, really, how strict something like that is. That's fantastic. We got another one here. Can we do a roll call post for people to say what school their kids go to? I'm sure we could.
We can do like a
poll.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a good idea.
We could definitely do that. Do that.
This one. Yeah. Did you see the new CDC guidelines for child development? I did. That's
crazy.
Yeah. Did you see it?
No, I haven't seen it.
You don't probably want to see it.
Okay.
It makes me thankful that our boys are a little bit older.
Right.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Pam, for putting what an IEP is.
We assume people know, but most don't.
I know.
We didn't know.
I don't know all the
acronyms.
Yeah, like when you go to a meeting, like at the schools, and they start talking like IEPs and 504s and I can't even think of any other acronyms right now, but I know that there's like a million of them, and I'm like, what? And I just know the basic ones, that we've studied up on since having a kiddo with special needs. But yeah, an IEP, it stands for
Individualized Education Plan.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm just looking up. We're coming up on an hour and a half. Thank you guys for everybody who's still with us. You guys are awesome. We just started doing this because we feel it's incredibly important to close these things out in prayer. And we would ask you to join with us in praying for, we should pray about everything, right? But, in what we're doing, we need to pray and make sure that we're staying in line with what God's asking us to do. And, Marilyn and I are unashamed believers. We're Christians and only do what we feel like the Father's leading us to do. And so we're constantly praying for guidance and wisdom and courage and creativity and all of those things. We'd ask you guys to join us with that as well. We will close this thing in prayer, but before we do, I just want to encourage you as the week goes on to be praying for our kids. And, our kids are where, unfortunately, like we've tried to keep our kids out of this fight because we don't feel like it's their responsibility. But, this is what it's going to take to win this thing, is just mass noncompliance. And, it's going to be largely, unfortunately, falling on the shoulders of the kids to carry that out. So I would ask you guys to increase your prayer life when it comes to praying for these kids, not only your kids, but everybody's kids, in just having boldness to stand up for what's right. Also pray for them to be able to absorb what they're doing and understand the significance of what they're doing. That it's not just like, well, I'm not going to wear a mask because my mom told me not to. Pray that they'd be able to absorb that. Pray for parents that they would be able to properly explain that and connect the dots for their kids. And so, praying for them, for the boldness, for the response from the schools themselves, the school districts, praying for principals and board members and superintendents, not praying against them, but praying for them, that they would see the wisdom in what they need to do, that they would understand the significance and that they would respond to the pressure we're putting on them appropriately and be the leaders that they need us to be. So I feel like I'm praying right now, but I'm just trying to instruct, a little bit on how to go about praying for some of these things. Pray for the teachers. A lot of the teachers are caught in the middle of this stuff, And, a lot of them don't agree with us, but a lot of them do. Like, it seems like even the majority of them do agree with us, and they just don't know what to do about it.
Mhm.
So, we pray for wisdom on that. We pray for
Boldness.
courage and boldness and just all of those things. So anyway, just a little bit, as you're hopefully spending time in prayer every day, just add those things to what you're already praying. And, hopefully we'll be able to see some awesome change. So should we pray and close this thing out?
Yep, sounds good.
Let's do it. All right. Heavenly Father, we thank you because you are good. And in the midst of all of this craziness, all of the just things that are going on in the world, in our state, in our city, with masks and vaccines and, tyrannical governments and like all of this stuff, I still pause and I say, and thank you for being good. There's so many amazing things that are happening in the world and in our lives right now. And first of all, Lord, I pray for perspective to be able to see those things, to not be consumed by the negative, but to also be able to see the positive, to have that balance. Lord, I just pray that you give us the eyes to see what you are doing, the way you are directing us, the way you are moving in the world. God, I ask that you speak to each of us. Lord, let us know what it is to hear your voice, to understand what you're saying, and be able to have the courage to go out and do those things. God, I pray for our students. I pray that you would just raise up a level of boldness that they've never known before. Raise up a level of boldness to be able to go out and stand for what's right. I pray for those, even the ones who are shy, to be able to have conversations with their friends and say, hey, we don't think this is right. Let's band together and make a change. I pray for the conversations that happen at home around dinner tables, in the cars as they're going to soccer practice or baseball practice. I pray that those conversations would be fruitful, that the information would soak in, that they'd grab it like a sponge and they'd be able to understand with wisdom beyond their years what is happening, and that they would be able to be a part of history as history is being made, and knowing that their kids will read about what happened here this year in California and be able to have the boldness to stand up and be a part of that. I pray for school personnel, whether that be teachers, whether that be principals, whether it be school nurses, whether it be anybody who's on those campuses or in the district offices or the board members. Lord, I pray that they would have eyes to see, that you would open up their eyes and give them understanding that maybe they've not had up until this point. God, I pray that you would just, in a way that only you can, that you would change their hearts, that they would see what's happening and realize that a change needs to be made. God, I pray for those whose hearts remain hard, that you would raise people up who would be able to step into those positions and be the kind of leaders that you would require in this time. God, I pray that in every city, that there would be people whose hearts are burning, people who are they may not even understand what it is, but it's a burning sensation that they know they need to do something, and they know they need to run for whatever office it is that needs to be run. God, I pray that you raise up the leaders that we need in this moment in time. So God, I just pray, we know that everything works together for the good of those who love you, that you have a plan that's in place, that's been in place, and it doesn't matter who has plans in place here in the world. Your plans always trump what happens anywhere else. And so we just, we step into that. We believe that. We stand on your word and your promises. And we promise that as you lead us and as you speak to us and tell us what to do, that we will step out in boldness. We will step out in faith. We will step out in love, and we will do the things that you've asked us to do. So we thank you for this time. I thank you for this group. I thank you for this band of brothers and sisters and patriots and people who have been called together for such a time as this. And I'm grateful for every one of them. And we thank you for what you're doing in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, guys. We love you. We appreciate you. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy President's Day tomorrow. Hopefully not too many of you have to work. And we will touch base soon. All right. See you later.
Bye, guys.